You are born into noise. You are born in Pompeii in the year 45 AD in a room that smells of olive oil and wet plaster. Your mother screams. The midwife works fast. The lamp flickers. You arrive in a city of 20,000 people built at the foot of a mountain that no one fears because no one alive has seen it angry. The room is small. The walls are painted red and yellow, the colors of wealth your father pretends to have. He is a baker. His name is Marcus. His hands are always white with flour and cracked at the knuckles from the cold morning hours when the ovens must be lit before the sun rises. Your mother's name is Lucia. She does not rest after your birth. By the third day, she is back at the counter, selling bread. This is the life you are born into. Useful, ordinary, loud. Pompeii is never quiet. It is a trading city, a port city in spirit, even though the sea is a few miles away. Goods move through here: wine, garum, wool, slaves, ceramic lamps, salted fish. The streets are narrow, and the wheel ruts in the stones are deep from centuries of carts. The smell of the city is impossible to describe to someone who has never lived in an ancient place. It is animal and human and smoke and bread and rot, all at once, permanently. You learn to breathe it without noticing. Childhood is work. At 4, you can identify every bread your father makes by smell alone. The panis quadratus, the round loaf scored into 8 sections. The spelt bread, denser, cheaper, what the poor buy. The honey cakes your mother makes for festivals. At 5, you sweep the front of the bakery before dawn. The broom is too big for you. You do it anyway. At 6, a dog bites your left hand when you try to feed it scraps near the forum. The wound festers. Your mother packs it with honey and wraps it in linen. For 2 weeks, you think you might lose the fingers. You don't, but the scar remains, a pale ridge across your palm that you will press with your thumb for the rest of your life without thinking about it. School is sporadic. Your father sends you when business is slow. You learn to read, haltingly enough, and to calculate prices and weights. The schoolmaster hits knuckles with a wooden rod when students make errors. You learn fast. The other children in your street are the children of a fuller, a wine merchant, and a man who repairs sandals. You play in the street in the evenings, chasing a hoop with a stick, gambling with knucklebones in the dirt. The mountain is always there at the edge of your vision when you look north. You don't look north much. It's just the mountain. It has always been the mountain. The city shapes you. At 10, you understand Pompeii's geography the way you understand your own body. You know which streets flood in rain. You know which thermopolium serves the cheapest hot food, a stew of lentils and old meat that costs 1 ass and fills you enough. You know which bakeries cheat on weight and which ones don't. Your father's doesn't. He is proud of this. The Forum is the center of everything. The Temple of Jupiter stands at the north end, enormous and indifferent. The Basilica, where legal disputes are settled. The market building, where vendors shout and argue. Politicians paint their names and slogans on walls throughout the city. You have seen hundreds of them, bright red letters on white plaster, begging for your family's vote. Gaius Cuspius Pansa for Aedile, he is worthy. Your father never votes. He says they are all the same. The baths are where information moves. Your father goes 3 times a week. He comes back knowing who has debt, who has died, whose wife is sick, whose son disgraced himself in the arena betting on the wrong fighter. At 12, you begin working the oven properly. Your father teaches you the exact moment bread is done by the sound it makes when you knock the bottom. A hollow knock means ready. A dull thud means it needs more time. You burn your forearms constantly. The scars layer over each other like rings in wood. The earth shakes and the city forgets. You are 15 when the earthquake comes. It is February. The year is 62 AD. You are in the bakery before dawn when the ground moves, not once, but continuously. a rolling, nauseating movement that lasts long enough for you to understand that it will not stop quickly. Shelves collapse. The large storage amphorae and the back room tip and crack on the floor. The oven makes a sound like something breaking deep inside the earth. Your mother grabs you. Your father stands in the doorway, the safest place, he says. The shaking lasts perhaps a minute. In that minute, half of Pompeii suffers. Temples crack, walls collapse. The aqueduct system that brings fresh water to the city is damaged severely. People die, not many, but some, crushed under falling stone. Then it stops. The city shakes again, smaller, 2 days later, then smaller tremors over the following weeks. People rebuild. The Emperor Nero sends money. Architects arrive. The temples are reconstructed, the pipes repaired, the walls replastered and repainted. Within a few years, Pompeii is almost entirely rebuilt, and in places more beautiful than before. This is the thing that will matter later, though no one understands it yet. The earthquake was a warning. The mountain was waking. The pressure building beneath it was announcing itself. The people of Pompeii repaired their city and continued their lives, and did not understand what the ground had been trying to tell them. The mountain is still just the mountain. You build a life on ordinary ground. At 19, you marry. Her name is Flavia. She is the daughter of the sandal maker from your street. You have known her since childhood, played in the same dirt, eaten at the same festivals. The marriage is arranged between your fathers over a jar of wine. You are not unhappy about it. Flavia is practical and quick-tempered and good at numbers. She will be useful in the bakery. The wedding is simple: a sacrifice, an exchange of rings, a dinner for the neighbors. You move into 2 rooms above the bakery. The ceiling is low. In summer, it is suffocating. In winter, the walls sweat with cold. At 21, Flavia gives birth to a son. You name him Lucius, after your father's father. He is small and loud and survives his first winter, which is not guaranteed. Many do not. At 23, you have a daughter. She does not survive the summer. A fever, sudden, complete, fatal in 5 days. You wrap her in a cloth and take her outside the city walls to bury her, as the law requires. Flavia does not speak for 2 weeks. Then she returns to the counter and begins selling bread again. You watch her do this and understand that grief in this life is something you absorb and continue through, not something you stop for. Life is business. Business is survival. Survival is the whole project. The years pass in flour and fire. Your father's hands give out when you are 26. The joints swell. He cannot knead dough anymore. You take over completely. You hire a slave, one, young, purchased at significant cost at the slave market near the Forum. His name, as far as you can tell, is something you can't pronounce, so you call him Philos. He is a hard worker. You are not cruel to him. This is not morality, it's efficiency. Damaged workers work poorly. The bakery expands slightly. You buy a second grinding stone, powered by a donkey that lives in the small courtyard at the back, and that Lucius, now 5, becomes obsessed with. He names the donkey. You do not remember what he names it. Something childish. You supply bread to 3 taverns on the Via della Abbondanza. You supply the house of a wealthy wool merchant. A large order, twice a week, paid reliably. You are not rich, but you are stable, which in Pompeii in the year 75 AD is almost the same thing. The mountain is still just the mountain. Summer 79 AD. August is brutal this year. The heat sits on the city like a hand pressing down. The fountains around the city, which normally run continuously from the aqueduct, have slowed to a trickle in recent weeks. People grumble about the water supply. The pipes, they say. Always the pipes. No one connects it to anything deeper. The wells taste strange, slightly of sulfur. A few people mention it. An old man near the forum says the ground smells different, like something rotting far below. No one listens to old men who smell things. The animals are strange. The dogs are restless at night, barking at nothing. The donkey in your courtyard paces and refuses food on some mornings for no reason you can explain. Lucius, now 13, asks you why the donkey is upset. You tell him animals are strange in the heat. This is true. It is not the whole truth, but you don't know that. On the evening of August 23rd, you feel a small tremor, barely anything. The wine in your cup trembles. Lucius looks up from his food. Flavia says nothing. Your father, now old and slow and spending his days sitting in the shade of the courtyard, says, "There it goes again." You go to sleep. The last morning. You wake before dawn on August 24th, as you always do. The air is hot and strange, still. Even for August, even for this August, the air feels wrong, thick, pressurized like the moment before a thunderstorm but without the thunder. You notice it in your body before you can name it, a tightness in the chest, an urge to move that has no direction. You light the oven. Philos arrives and begins loading the grinding stone. The donkey accepts its harness without complaint, which is the first normal thing this morning. Flavia comes down with Lucius. Your father remains upstairs. He sleeps later now. You eat quickly, bread and oil and a few olives. Lucius talks about something, a friend, a game. You are not listening carefully enough. This is the last ordinary moment, and you do not know it is the last ordinary moment, which is the specific cruelty of how ordinary moments work. At midday, the mountain tears itself open.
The mountain tears itself open. You're at the counter when it happens. The sound comes first, not an explosion exactly, more like the earth itself making a sound it has never made before, a deep concussive crack that you feel in your sternum rather than hear with your ears. People in the streets stop. Everyone stops. Then you look north. A column of something is rising from the summit of the mountain. Not smoke, something thicker, more violent, building upward with a speed that makes no sense, climbing into the sky like a tree growing in fast motion. A column of ash and gas and rock that rises miles into the air before spreading sideways at the top, flattening into a shape that one eyewitness miles away, watching from a boat on the bay, will later compare to a pine tree. You stare at it. Everyone stares at it. For a few minutes, the city just stares. Then, small pieces of pumice begin to fall. They are light, surprisingly light, almost like hail, porous stone flung from the mountain's throat at speeds you cannot imagine, cooled partially by altitude. They hit the street, the rooftops, your arms. It doesn't hurt much at first. It is strange more than painful. Children hold out their hands to catch them, the way they catch snowflakes, because no one alive in Pompeii has seen this happen before, and no one has told them what it means. The weight of the sky. Within an hour, the pumice fall is heavy. The sky has gone dark, not night dark, but a sick gray-brown darkness, a daytime darkness that is wrong in every register of human instinct. People are moving now, some into their houses, some out of them, some toward the gate, some away from the gate. No one is sure which direction is safe because no one has ever needed to know. You go inside. Flavia has already pulled Lucius in. Your father has come downstairs, slowly gripping the wall, his face the face of a man who has lived long enough to know this is something new, and that new things in his experience are rarely good. The pumice accumulates on the roof. You hear it, a constant hissing, grinding sound above your head. You can hear the roof timbers beginning to creak under the weight, an inch of pumice, 2 inches, 4. You make a decision.
You tell Flavia to take Lucius. You wrap cloth around your heads, against the falling stone, against the smell, which is now sulphurous and sharp and getting into your eyes. You tie cushions over your heads, which you have heard offers protection, though you are not sure against what exactly. Your father moves slowly. You take his arm. The street is chaos. People running, a cart overturned, a horse screaming somewhere nearby, a woman on her knees in the middle of the road, praying to a god who is not answering. The pumice is already inches deep on the ground, strange to walk on, like sand that crunches. The light is almost gone. You choose the gate, south, away from the mountain. The road. The road south is packed with people. All of Pompeii seems to be here, or at least all of Pompeii that can move. You see the wool merchant who buys your bread. He's carrying a box, something valuable. He is not looking at anyone. You see a woman carrying 3 children, one on her back, one in each arm. You see a man who has stopped moving and is sitting against a wall with pumice accumulating on his shoulders, and you do not know if he is resting or dead. And you don't stop to find out because Flavia is pulling Lucius forward, and your father is slowing with every step. The pumice is falling harder. The air is getting worse. Not just the smell now, but the particles, fine ash mixing with the larger pumice, getting into your lungs with every breath. You cough. Lucius coughs. Your father coughs with his whole body. You have walked perhaps a quarter mile from the city gate. Your father stops. He cannot walk further. His legs, his joints, the years in the bakery and the years of sitting have left him with a body that does not obey emergency. He looks at you. You look at him. You are both calculating the same thing simultaneously and reaching the same conclusion and both hating it. You find a doorway, a farm building set slightly off the road, abandoned, the family long gone. You bring your father inside. There is a small room, low ceiling, solid stone walls. You make him sit. He holds your hand for a moment, just a moment, and then he releases it and waves you out. You leave him there. This is the last time you see your father alive. You will not find out later that he survived 3 more hours in that room before the air killed him. You will not find out because there is no later. The surge. You have made it perhaps half a mile from the city when the mountain collapses. The column that has been climbing into the sky for hours, miles high, violent, continuous, begins to fall. The gases have cooled, the weight of the ash exceeds what the column can support, and when it collapses, all that material, the ash, the gas, the rock, the heat, falls outward in all directions at ground level. This is called a pyroclastic surge. You do not have a word for it. No one does. It has never happened to people who survived to name it. What you experience is a sound so low and total it is felt rather than heard. A wall of gray-black moving toward you faster than you can process movement. Heat arriving before the mass does. A wall of superheated air that is in itself lethal. 300, 400, 500 degrees, hitting you before anything solid does. You push Lucius down. You put yourself over him. The surge takes approximately 10 seconds to pass through where you are standing. The road. The road south is packed with people. All of Pompeii seems to be here, or at least all of Pompeii that can move. You see the wool merchant who buys your bread. He's carrying a box, something valuable. He is not looking at anyone. You see a woman carrying 3 children, one on her back, one in each arm. You see a man who has stopped moving and is sitting against a wall with pumice accumulating on his shoulders, and you do not know if he is resting or dead. And you don't stop to find out because Flavia is pulling Lucius forward, and your father is slowing with every step. The pumice is falling harder. The air is getting worse. Not just the smell now, but the particles, fine ash mixing with the larger pumice, getting into your lungs with every breath. You cough. Lucius coughs. Your father coughs with his whole body. You have walked perhaps a quarter mile from the city gate. Your father stops. He cannot walk further. His legs, his joints, the years in the bakery and the years of sitting have left him with a body that does not obey emergency. He looks at you. You look at him. You are both calculating the same thing simultaneously and reaching the same conclusion and both hating it. You find a doorway, a farm building set slightly off the road, abandoned, the family long gone. You bring your father inside. There is a small room, low ceiling, solid stone walls. You make him sit. He holds your hand for a moment, just a moment, and then he releases it and waves you out. You leave him there. This is the last time you see your father alive. You will not find out later that he survived 3 more hours in that room before the air killed him. You will not find out because there is no later. The surge. You have made it perhaps half a mile from the city when the mountain collapses. The column that has been climbing into the sky for hours, miles high, violent, continuous, begins to fall. The gases have cooled. The weight of the ash exceeds what the column can support. And when it collapses, all that material, the ash, the gas, the rock, the heat, falls outward in all directions at ground level. This is called a pyroclastic surge. You do not have a word for it. No one does. It has never happened to people who survived to name it. What you experience is a sound so low and total it is felt rather than heard. A wall of gray-black moving toward you faster than you can process movement. Heat arriving before the mass does. A wall of superheated air that is in itself lethal. 300, 400, 500 degrees, hitting you before anything solid does. You push Lucius down. You put yourself over him. The surge takes approximately 10 seconds to pass through where you are standing. Aftermath. The plaster cast of you has been viewed by approximately 12 million people since excavation. None of them know your name. None of them know your father's name, or that he stayed behind in a stone room off the road, or that you made spelt bread for the poor at a price your father insisted on keeping fair, or that you had a daughter who didn't survive her first summer, or that the scar across your palm was from a dog bite when you were 6 years old. They know only the shape of your final second. This is the entirety of what you left behind. The impression of a body, the posture of protection, and 1,800 years of silence. You wanted to walk far enough. The mountain had already decided how far was far enough. You gave the last 10 seconds you had to someone else. Whether that mattered, it is not for the mountain to say. If this life reached you, subscribe. Every week, another life, another person history forgot, another last moment that deserves to be remembered. You never know which ordinary morning is the last one.